97.9 The Box. It is the Mad Hatter Morning Show. We have Daymond, John in the studio, the shark himself, entrepreneur, the legend.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. J-Mac we want to start off. Go ahead, Mac.
Now, every morning you start off, you tell yourself something positive. What did you say this morning to yourself?
I said I'm not going to eat that much sodium in Houston because all my favorite spots here are like salt first.
True. What are your favorite spots?
What are you talking about? Breakfast Club, turkey leg spot, Papa Doe. I come here to eat, man, and hang out with Slim Thug. That's what I come.
Oh yeah,
that's why.
How did you and Slim Thug get that relationship? Because I see y'all are real cool.
That's like my boy. Well, of course, Jay Prince and Bun and all of them are my family too. But Slim and I, through a friend, started just hanging out. And then he started staying, and he'll be like, I'm going to Miami, and he'll stay at my spot in Miami. He'll offer me, one of his spots. I started going to my spot in Miami, and people were like, oh, this is Slim Thug's house. I was like, no, it's not. This is my spot. Really? You know what I'm saying? But,
oh, that's tight.
He's such a good dude, man. And then all the stuff he's doing for the city, I just have a huge amount of respect for that man.
Now, you're here, of course, you have gotten the whole music game yourself, or motivational game yourself, and you released your album, Visualize, right?
Right, so let's make it clear. I'm not singing. I'm not rapping. I'm not even humming, because you would not want to hear that if that was the case, right? I have a Visualized album, and it is many of my speeches, and there's music to the speeches. I was driving one day, and I heard Martin Luther King's speech that I love, obviously, and one of the DJs put a beat to it, and I was like, man, I want to work out to this. But if you hear one of my speeches, you've heard it once, you don't need to hear it again.
Right.
But after, I had some really young talent put some music to it, I want people to work out to this, or in the train or the plane or the bus or walking into a speech, get amped about it.
So how are the downloads going?
Download was great. I mean, I came out the same day as Chris Brown.
Yes, you did.
I crushed him in my category.
What is that?
Motivational speeches by the black guy on Shark Tank. I crushed him in the category. You know what I mean?
Man.
So it's called the Visualize album, and you can get it on all the streaming platforms. And,
right.
So
when you work out, do you listen to music or you listen to like motivational?
No, I listen to music. I listen to those soundtracks of movies like
when
Rocky,
you work out? Like
Inception.
Okay.
Or, you know what I mean?
Like
Yeah. So, of course, Shark Tank, people know you from Shark Tank, but we know you from FUBU, and I know that Houston was a big part of FUBU kind of launching and being successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Houston probably is definitely in the top 5. When we came out to Houston, they just always gave us so much love.
Tell everybody your story. I know you've told it a million times, but how did you start the whole FUBU thing, and then the success, and then, of course, I'll tell you our story. I'll tell you how you paid for my vacation about 20 years ago.
I'll make it real quick. So right around 1989, everybody was saying, all these designers were saying, well, we don't like people of color or rappers or whatever. And I said, who's ever going to make clothes for, the people that actually wear it? And I got inspired by Carl Kanai and Cross Colors. And then, I came out with something called Forest Bias. Now, the big misunderstanding is people always thought Forest Bias was only about a color. And it's not, because, I think that, it was all about people who loved rap. Love music. Right. And I don't care what color you are. If you were Third Base or MC Search at that time, or Eminem today, I don't care what color you are. You just bad. You bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we made it, and just people embraced it, and they started, LL became our spokesperson, and
that was sneaky how y'all did them.
Yeah, with the Gap ad, where LL would start talking about FUBU in Gap ads, and everybody would wear it. When you walking down the street, you saw somebody across the street, and if they were wearing FUBU, you know they were into hip hop.
Right.
Hip hop wasn't like it is today.
Right.
I'm talking about '89. I'm talking about 1990, and thank God everybody embraced us, and we're here today.
Such a hit, too. Flash forward 10 years after that, 1999, you celebrate your 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
And you fly how many people out to the island of St. Martin's?
I think we flew 300 of the people who supported us, the radio stations, celebrities. It cost us $6 million. We had 4 jumbo jets of people, and we flew them out to St. Martin just to party, and we had a big concert, Mary J. Blige, Gap Band, and like 10 other big artists.
And guess who was on that plane, Jazz?
The Lucky Jim.
The man.
This man right here. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, my wife and I had a great time over in St. Martin's. It was an amazing event, really.
We had a really amazing time over there, and it was just us showing people that there wasn't social media at that time, right? So we would go in clubs and buy out the whole bar, and people would, and then fly people out. That was our version of appreciating people, and that's exactly what FUBU was, for us, by us.
How much did it cost to send all those people out to St.
That was
Martin's?
$6 million. $6 million, yeah.
And it's worth it, though.
It was a hell of a
'Cause
party.
all
I'm
those-
still paying for it, but it was a really great time, man.
And speaking of, I saw that FUBU, they're doing a recent collab that comes out next week with the LA company. Is it Sorella?
Sorella. We actually the big opening is on Saturday, right? So we did collaborate. We're doing a lot of collaborations. Puma, Sorella. We did one with Urban Outfitters, Forever 21. FUBU was really coming back in a version of like with collaborations with the younger companies right now. So we're having a good time.
So did you know that it was going to come back like in this new wave?
We always know that fashion repeats itself in 10 and 20 years, and but the younger kids are starting to find it now and recognize it. So it's amazing to see how it's being interpreted now for the younger market.
Okay, you started FUBU with $40. Could you start a company now with $40 and make it big?
I think you can. Believe it or not.
What?
I think you
what?
can. All right.
$40. If
How?
I gave you $40, you could take a company to $1 million company.
All right, well, how many times we see somebody just with a bikini and a big old booty start something,
Jazz, you got hope.
Wait, what? Rewind.
strive to be number one. But, it's not about the money. It's really, I swear to you, that's why I wrote The Power of Broke. It's about building a following,
Right.
right? I could try to buy myself. All right, how many companies we see today, like BlackBerry and Blockbuster and Kodak, who went out of business with millions and millions of dollars, right? So
Right.
it's about creating this following.
Okay, so you only got
But what-
$40. What would you do with $40 right now today?
I don't know. It depends.
How can you do anything with $40?
That's what I'm saying. But
You
he
can barely
said
get an
he
Uber.
probably could.
Yeah, but how many people? All right, so why do people tune into you guys?
Because we're the city. We're the voice of the city.
Get 'em, Mac.
Exactly, right?
Right.
Because people follow it because they know they're going to be entertained. They know they're going to get the information. They know it's coming from a real place. And that's what
Okay.
I did with FUBU.
Okay.
Right? So
Okay.
no matter what, when you create a following, I mean, how many people watch things on Instagram or places and people you never heard of, but somebody said to you the next day at the water cooler, yo, you need to check so and so out.
Right.
It's always about creating a following. I swear to you, it is.
Create a following. Speaking of that, now we go to Jazz.
Who?
Jazz has a pitch
have a
for
pitch
you.
for
All right, we're going to do this the right way real quick,
go.
all right?
We're on Shark Tank now?
Yeah.
All right.
Next up, Sharks, it's her first time in the tank. Well, unless you count the drunk tank. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome young Jazz. She's bright, bold, brainy, resourceful, quick and sharp, shrewd, slick, and she has an idea for an app. And she's looking for a $250,000 investment of her right now.
Jazz, what's happening?
So, you go out somewhere, maybe you go to a club or an event and you see somebody that you might think is cute. Maybe it's even at the grocery store, but you miss your shot. So, I have a friend who's actually developing this app, and it's called Miss Shots. So basically, it's like you can turn on your location services in certain places that you go. And then 24 hours later, you can see all the people that were there, and then you have a chance to message them. So it's kind of like a Tinder or like a dating app, but you had to have been in the same place.
Yeah,
But
it's
you missed
ki-
your shot.
No, I like that. I like that. It's like if you miss as a stalker, right there, you can follow up on your stalking.
So you're saying you're out already?
It's like follow stalking.
Yeah.
I like
You
that.
have the option to turn, your location on or off. Because your iPhone, they track everywhere we go anyways.
First time something happens to somebody, the lawsuit.
Love that idea. I love that idea. So, but how would people? The biggest problem with any company is how other people going to know about it.
Jazz?
How they're going to know? Turn it on because this is what happens. You may,
Jazz. How they gonna know?
So you know how they have Snapchat codes that you can scan and do stuff. So at the door at an event, you can scan in the code. On
Nice.
The door.
I like the idea.
Back on track, okay?
All right. So you want $250,000?
Yeah.
I'll give you $40 for it, just like I started. Let's get it cracking. We'll both feel very comfortable.
Jazz, are you going to take the $40?
I think I had to decline. I think you're shopping this around. You missed your shot.
Too big to start.
So were you actually actively seeking to be on a reality show when they hit you for Shark Tank, or how did that all happen?
No, I was chilling. And Mark Burnett called me and said, we think I think he saw me on Donnie Deutsch show, and he said, you could break down a pitch, and, you got a couple of dollars, why don't you come on the show? And I was like, okay, no problem. And then they were like, well, you're going to pay for all the people you invest in. I was like, hell no, I'm not going on that show.
Why you didn't want to spend your money at this particular
I was like, wait a
time?
minute, why?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I'm going on in Hollywood. You're supposed to pay me.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about, you pimps? You're nasty. So then I said, you know what, I'll go out there, I'll do this little pilot. Because I said the show is never going to get anywhere. And I said, but the deal is I got to be able to pitch Mark Burnett himself 3 smoking hot shows that I got.
Okay.
I go to breakfast with him. He knocks down the ideas before the eggs even come. I do the scissor reel or the pilot.
Right.
Matter of fact, I said I'm going to get a free trip to LA, and that time I was single, so I had a couple of pieces out there, and I'm going to the club.
Jazz.
And then I'm wearing my earrings because I'm going to go to the club that night. And that's why you see me on the show, my earrings all the time. The show gets picked up. It becomes a huge hit. They're like, yo, you got to wear the earrings all the time for continuity.
Wow. Now let's go back.
That's why I'm not wearing my earrings. Am I? Yeah. Down the Shark Tank. I take
continuity.
Right? I'm a black guy walking down the street.
Now let's go back. Is it true that Kim Kardashian told you to do the show? Like you weren't going to do it? Because I read a couple of things that said that. So I want to clear the room up.
So I was representing the family at the time, Kim and the girls. And when I say I went out to see pieces, none of the girls were the pieces. They were my, I don't want that to be too close to each other.
Okay.
I was doing all the brand representation. So if you look at their show in the first 2 or 3 years, they're all wearing my brand Coogee because I went out to get other people to put brands in the show, and and they said no. They said it would never work. So first of all, I said, all right, well then even though I work with them, I'll put my own brand in there. I'll pay for it. And then Kim and Kris Jenner was like, I know Mark, this show is going to be big. You need to do the show.
Wow.
And at first I was representing the girls, and they were like, you can't be on our show, Shark Tank, if you're going to be on their show. Because I was going to be on their show like 3 times a year for 3 minutes apiece. Right. And they were, and then Chloe said to me, you can't be on our show anymore because she wanted me to be on Shark Tank. So it was really Chloe who said, I want you on Shark Tank.
Man.
How much money you think you've made from the investments you've made on people from Shark Tank? I mean, I don't want to get your business, but like just a round figure.
It's hard to give you a round figure because what happens is we probably lose, like in any business, in any venture capital business, we probably lose 6 times out of 10 on the companies. In a normal venture capital business, they lose 8 times out of 10, but you just need one. So like my Bombas guys who came on, they were doing
Sox guys.
They were doing $800,000 a year. Now they're doing $100 million a year. So just off of them alone, I made all my money back. So I can't say that how much I've made because you look at all the people that I put an employee in there and whatever the case is. But I would say probably, I would hope maybe 10 million.
And that doesn't count like you're actually being on the show and syndication and all that stuff too. So
well, yeah, we don't. Yeah, syndication, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And you actually lost your first couple of years, right?
I lost $750 the first year. I lost $500 the second year and $250 the third, and that shows you whether you're an entrepreneur or someone who has access to capital. As you're going and you're learning a new business, It's a new business. I knew how to make T-shirts. I didn't know how to invest in 15 companies a year. Right. So you start getting smarter, and you start realizing I need to go back to the $40 theory. Right. So that's what happens. So you learn as you grow.
Did you invest in Ring?
None of us invested in Ring.
Why not? Why?
But he'll even say it. He said when he walked in. So if you don't know right now, Ring came on Shark Tank, and he ended up not getting investment from anybody, and he ended up selling the company to Amazon for $1.2 billion.
Wow!
Right?
Man, hold up.
And he ended up being a guest shark. He was a guest shark. But he said, even he was asking too much money. Then he said, I wouldn't have invested in myself at that time.
Right.
I was too early, and I was asking for like too much money.
Right.
Is that the only product you kind of wish you would have got in on, or was another something that kept?
I'll be very honest. I don't wish I got on any of the products that I missed out on, because I realized that it takes the right shark, the right product, the right CEO. One time, Lori is like the queen of products that are plastic and under $50.
Right.
She's slinging more plastic than McDonald's Happy Meals. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen her do stuff with products that I'm like, this will never work. But she had a customer.
Uh-huh.
She understood. She's been on QVC for 15 years.
Right.
So she knows her customer.
market.
Yeah, it's like me coming on with you guys and going, all right, well, I know what to say to everybody. You be like, no, you don't.
Right.
You don't live out here. You don't know our peoples. You know what I mean? And I think that I'm going to be it. And then all of a sudden, like probably all the people that came up against you, they're done.
Wow.
Man.
That's how it is.
Let's talk about you have an online venture too, the Daymond On Demand. How does that work? Is that like people can like log in and
that's Daymond On Demand is a virtual version of my mentorship. It's 8 hours of all the things I've learned that have helped me be successful in business, and all the landmines I stepped on that cost me millions of dollars. Like a lot of people, I see them come on Shark Tank, they're like, I have 10 patents, and that's about $150,000, and you can't defend half those patents, but yet a trademark is only $2,500, and you can't put FUBU on anything. That cost me $2,500 when I started, 30 years ago. But all the patents I've had that's cost me millions of dollars, I've never been able to defend any of those.
Wow.
So you think about it, like, so I'm laying all this out in an educational platform, for people who are starting business or in business who wants to scale business. And that's what I put Daymond On Demand.
So it's like a subscriber service, or is it kind of like you said, on demand? Do they pay as far as to access?
They pay and they go, and it's a curriculum. And you know what? Maybe we'll give you guys a code. We give you guys it yourselves for your family, and we'll also probably give you a code to send out to people, right?
Oh, Max got the code right over there.
All right, so we'll give everybody a code, right, to send out to people.
This is for something else.
Oh, it's
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You text right now. If you text visualize to 44222, they're gonna get the album and access to Daymond On Demand, a free download. And we'll send out to everybody.
Okay.
Man.
Okay.
So, and then you got all the books and stuff. So with the Empires,
books.
yeah. How many books you got? 3?
I got 4. I'm working on my 5th one now called Power
Gosh,
Shift.
come on, Mac.
Okay.
He's the book reader of the morning show. Come on, Mac.
I got 4 out, and I'm working on my 5th now.
Wow.
Daymond, what's the most expensive lesson you've learned? The most expensive lesson?
The most expensive lesson I've learned, don't have side pieces, but I'm trying to think about some other expensive lessons. They're costly, man.
And stressful, I bet, huh?
Huh?
Yeah, and stressful, too, I bet.
Oh, very stressful. What's the most expensive lesson I've learned? That's a funny. You know what I've learned? All right, the way the money works, right? Money can work for you or against you. So the best way, if you have capital or you have any money, I'm talking about $100, $200 going to the stock market, like, so we've been talking about $40 here, but a lot of times you can't start your own business. Well, invest in people who did start a business who are geniuses, like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, all right, in the market. But the best way, if you have money, make sure everybody else pays for your debt. So anything that I own, somebody pays for, whether it's a car, a jet, or an apartment building, or whatever the case is, and anything that I have to pay for, I rent. Why? Because I can write half of it off. Right, so if you have enough money, why don't you go and get a small house and let whatever the case is, and let somebody pay that rent for it. So if your mortgage is $1,500, let somebody pay $1,800 for it every single month and pay it down. And then if you're gonna have to go rent something, and then pay it down, and then write off as much as you can of it. So let other people pay down your debt. That's the most probably important thing. It's an old saying, money is a great slave but a horrible master. So a lot of people just think that money is just purely something that you should go and buy things and doodads and things that you want, but let everybody else pay for your debt if you can.
Speaking of money, when did you realize that you weren't really rich when there were richer people than you? Like
every day.
Really? Like
first time I made my first $1 million after I paid the tax on it, I came to $600,000 after I paid off the house and gave a couple of friends some money, and all your family who has problems. I realized and paid off your credit card bills. I realized I was broke. Then I remember walking into a room. I had my FUBU chain on.
Right. I remember that chain.
I paid like $150,000.
Okay.
$150,000 for it, right?
Right.
Dudes was rolling up with cars that cost $5 million.
What?
I had to tuck my chain in. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm around millionaires and well, not millionaires, but billionaires, what I notice is I've been in a lot of rooms where people are talking about how much money they spent. When you're around billionaires, they talk about how much money they gave away.
Really? Like Bill Gates and the Warren Buffetts and
they
stuff
talk about
like
how much
that.
money they gave away because it comes back in different forms. And you know, when you're around cats like that, when you're around billionaires, you know what they talk about more than anything else? Not about new businesses. How can they save
The world?
on the money they made already?
Really?
If you're somebody who's making $1 billion a year, instead of starting a new business to make $200 million, if you're going to have to give away $500 million of your billion, how can you have
that
tax
loss.
shelters to save $300 million of that?
Wow.
They're thinking a whole different way. And I'm up there thinking about talking about, yo, I'm going to buy a new chain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So fascinating when you're around people of really high wealth people.
So is that your goal? I mean, you've pretty much done it all. Is that your goal now to be in that
No,
era?
I couldn't care less. I mean, at a certain point when you made a decent amount of money, you know, I had
$100 million.
Yeah, that's a decent amount of money. I can deal with that. Yeah.
You know, in all reality, man, I had cancer 2 years ago, and I'm cancer free, and the reality is, thank you, and I have a brand new baby girl, brand new baby girl, and at certain points you're gonna say to yourself, how do I just live life? Like, what would another 500 million do for my life? It'll be a bigger boat.
Right.
What's it gonna be? Like more cars so my friends could drive? Like a bigger house so you only stay in your kitchen and living room and bedroom in your house.
Right.
So why do I need 17 more bedrooms? And I'm crippled because I don't go work out no more. I don't have time anymore. So, you know, at a certain point it's about living life, hopefully changing other people's lives.
And speaking of your baby girl and getting engaged, you took your wife or you got engaged on the show. What made you do that?
Well, you know, you got the show and you get to.
I mean, I'm just saying.
But how did you know that? Because we didn't air that.
Because I researched.
He's got a website called Peep the Situation.
He's a
so
spy.
he's a spy.
Yeah, so he got that stalker app you got. We're like a family on the show, and I sat her down on the show, and I was like, "Hey, babe, you know, they want to just set the cameras up or whatever the case is." And then I came out and I did a pitch, and then I asked her to be my wife, and you know we have our own little copy of that, and I didn't know that people like you know about that stuff, but yeah, I thought it would be a good idea.
Come on, man! I read your books. I followed you since you've been out there. Why wouldn't I know?
Stalker. You're right. Stalker.
That's my guy.
One download.
Hey, you and LL Cool J still cool?
Absolutely, I think LL is probably one of the top reasons why FUBU became who it was.
Right.
You know, he's a very dedicated, business person who, when we asked him to be part of FUBU, he just went so hard. You know what I mean? And, I can't thank him enough, but LL is absolutely amazing.
Is there any people who wanted to endorse the brand back in the days that you turned down or y'all turned down as a group? That you're like, no, you're not the right fit?
Ooh, I've never been asked that before, but no. Really no, because you know what, when your brand, whoever's listening right now, when your brand is whatever that brand is, whenever somebody really appreciates the brand and loves it for what it is, you don't know where your brand's gonna go. You don't know how it's gonna be interpreted. And even I remember NSYNC came to us before they even were NSYNC, and they wanted to wear the brand, and they were like, we're huge fans of urban brands, and nobody else wants to dress us because we're white. I was like, I'm not going to dress you. It's not because you're white. I haven't heard your music, and you look really corny. So I go down to I go down to Orlando, and I go into the studio, and I'm like, I'm ready to hear some corny music. And I look in the corner, and Justin was there, and I was like, "Isn't that Justin from the Mickey Mouse Club?" Of course, I'm going to dress them. I love the Mickey Mouse Club, so I dressed them because of the Mickey Mouse Club, and it became huge, and for their followers as well.
Wow, that's tight. That's tight. So you've been in the business. What are some of the designers that you respect and have a lot of respect for? Coming up, what were the designers that you like, but maybe they weren't designing for the audience you designed for?
Oh, I mean, I'm like anybody else. I love, hip hop. The first hip hop brands were Kangol and Le Coq Sportif and Alessi and Fila and Reebok and Levi's and Lee's. And today, I'm not really into the current design, but of course, I love the Louis of the world. But of course, I love the Supremes
But see, you get to talk to them. So when you get to talk to them, were these the people you thought they were going to be when you got to talk to them? Because at one point you were building that brand, and now you get to be in the offices with those people, like the Ralph Laurens and stuff like that. Do they just think that, hey, this is just another black brand did they think that it was going to go away? That, because I remember during that time, Sean John and all of those clothes and stuff like that and everything, man. I had all the FUBU. All the FUBU.
Rockaware.
The same way the Caulk and I and Cross Colors helped me, I'm grateful to say that I was able to put the president over at Sean John, my man Jeff Tweedy, and I distributed Fat Farm in Amsterdam. And Dame Dash came to me when he had something called Rockaware that he wanted to create, and I helped them because I was a version of being, somebody who helped me. So we all got along, and I really appreciate them because I knew that they were in it for the real reasons. There was a lot at that time. There was also a lot of people who just put a bald head black guy on an ad and stamp a name on it, and those companies never lasted the test of time.
Right.
But the ones that I'm talking about were real. Jay and Dame Dash were fashionable before they created, Rockaware. Diddy has always been fashionable, so our community followed the people they knew were doing it for the right reasons. So I've always been in those rooms with those people and respected them. Being in the rooms with the Ralph Lauren's of the world and all that, our community adopted them. They really, Ralph Lauren wanted to show you a true American polo style.
Right.
So, and they've always been consistent with that. But if you look at Ralph Lauren, he made one. He put out one of the first black male supermodels, Tyson Beckford, right? So we can't say that they ain't one part of us. We're talking about Ralph Lauren. Other companies in the past have, but the ones I'm in the room with, I only talk to them because I respect them.
Speaking of, do you think that our community should boycott brands like Gucci and stuff when they make mistakes like they have recently?
I think they should. I don't know if they should boycott them necessarily, but there's so many choices out there. Go someplace else. If somebody's made that mistake, and I believe it was a mistake, but you look at Gucci and they've done a mistake, but then yet they'll support and do a deal with Dapper Dan. So I think it was a mistake. But if you're uncomfortable with it, you're a consumer. You have a choice to buy from anybody. Why do it?
Yeah.
Last thing. Best advice someone gave you in business and best advice you can give somebody out there in Houston right now looking to start up their own business.
It'll be so. The best advice is the quote that I used earlier: "Money is a great slave, but a horrible master." But the best advice that I can give anybody else, whether we go back to the $40 theory, is start with no money. I mean, if you look at most of the things, like if you drive down the street today and you look out at everything, this building, this studio, cars, whatever the case is, it all started with one person with one idea that took one action. That's what it started with. Over 65% of Forbes' top 100 wealthiest people in the world started with no money. They're self-made. That means they were broke. So don't go out and borrow money. Don't go out and create a following. That's what you have to do to be whoever you are. Like, I ran into a dude randomly who owns Turkey Leg Hut.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I went to Turkey Leg Hut like a month ago. It was like 150 people outside. It was raining.
Packed every day.
Packed every day.
Rain, sleet, snow.
Yep.
He had no money when he started. I had no money when I started. So if you look also, let's talk about people with money. 65 to 70% of athletes, once they leave the league, 3 years out of the league, are bankrupt.
Hold on. I'm glad you said that because Adrian Peterson was in the news yesterday. And I'm like, God, dog it, don't tell me Adrian is broke. But they said that he's on the verge of being bankrupt.
Like 100 mil or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Same thing with lotto winners. Why? Because if you don't know how to use a tool of money, and there's nothing wrong with athletes being broke. I'll tell you why. Because they've been taught since they were 5 years old to be the best physical specimen in the world. How are you going to also learn business, also learn this, also learn that, right? You're in the books every day doing what you do best, right?
Right.
You know, a lot of doctors are broke, but they'll save your life. I can't cut you open and save your life. You don't want me doing surgery on you.
Right.
But I got a hell of a bank account, right? So you know, when you learn financial intelligence, it's the most important. We're not taught financial intelligence as kids, but yet we can get up to be about 18 years old, and then we get $300,000 worth of loans for colleges that will end up paying off for the next 30 years on a career that we don't know if we want. So it's financial intelligence. It's how money works. That's the most important thing. Like, there was a guy who died about 15 years ago. He was born in 1930. The biggest job, African American, the biggest job he ever had was working for UPS, and I think that he made $30,000 a year. But he was so financially intelligent that he gave away $70 million when he died.
dog it. I'm going to have to go look up that story right now.
Yeah, Tony Robbins talks about it all the time.
Wow.
Well, thanks for coming. So we have the TV show is back on ABC.
Shark Tank is back on. We're back on in September, season 11, making people's dreams come true. Hopefully people listening today will be on the show if they have an idea or a product or a company. We have the Visualize album. Please go out there. It's all about the people getting motivated to, do what they want to do out in life. And you can text Visualize to 44222. Daymond on Demand, and just catch me on all social media platforms, just trying to hang out and learn from the people who follow me as well as teach them.
I feel like I've learned already.
Me
Daymond
too.
John,
All right, thank you all. Thank you
for coming to the Mad Hatter Morning Show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.